Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Welcome to Drinkin' Bros, kids. Sunday night show. We always record this on Friday afternoons, so we get crunk, not worry about driving home. I guess Jared was a little worried about showing up today.
They're doing a show.
Are they?
With the mall, the SAS dude.
I won't believe it. I talked to Danny Warsnop earlier, maybe 20 minutes ago, and I go, what's Jared doing right now? And he said he's working on a Subaru. It's so specific, it has to be true, right?
Well, he's got a Subaru, so it checks out.
Yeah. And we've got Nate Wessel here from Nitro Circus. What's up, Nate? How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
Fucking rad, dude. Put the mic a little closer to your mouth, like a
closer
dick.
to the mouth.
There it is, like a dick.
Yeah, I'm used to that.
So Jared booked you, and then he didn't even show up, which is classic Jared.
Classic Jared for sure.
Jesus Christ,
Also,
man.
classic Jared would have been to show up with like 30 additional people. Yeah. So it can go either way on the scale there.
I definitely have some classic Jared stories in that same aspect. So.
Yeah, and you've also got some classic Travis Pastrana stories. We'll start with that first. Obviously, we saw the footage on TMZ and the news and everything else. Travis barely lived, it seemed like.
I'm pretty sure he can live through a lot, but that one is he sent us a video because we're on a group chat with him, and it just goes off all day long. But he sent us the video from the balcony where he jumped off, and it doesn't look so bad from up there, but the turn he did at the end when he hit the ground was pretty gnarly. And yeah.
How fast was he going? Do you know?
Terminal velocity.
Yeah, pretty much terminal velocity, and he made such a tight turn at the bottom, and he was too close to the ground, and it just pretty much screwed him at that point. And
yeah, I saw he did an Instagram post from the hospital.
Yeah.
Where he kind of selfied himself inside the hospital. I don't know what he's on. That video was real wonky, and you're like, hey, are you okay? Should you be making videos right now? I just got out of the hospital. They wouldn't give me a cell phone. So I don't know how Travis got one.
Well, you're not Travis Pastrana.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
And
but
he's probably on ketamine, too, by the way.
Yeah. He sends our group message all kinds of stuff that, oh, man, we'd be in trouble if we sent that video to anybody else. So
I bet.
Funny.
But he said, I wish I had hit the trees rather than taking the turn that I did. You know everything about that type of shit. What does he mean
man,
by
it's
that?
like usually Travis, like what he said, and even in the video online, he's like one of the best people when you get into a situation like that.
Yeah.
He's hands down one of the best people that you could either be with or whatever, that a last second decision, like when shit hits the fan, like he would be like the guy that would make one of the best decisions ever because he's been through so many different things like, oh shit's going wrong, this.
Yeah.
And it's like game on, and he thought that he chose the wrong decision, but he really, in reality, should have listened to like the professional dudes that were there, like, hey, this is all you got to do. But, when you jump and then the wind is doing this or whatever, he had two decisions that he could have made, and he wishes he would have gone into the trees, but that also can go pretty wrong if you do that.
Shit.
Yeah, and Bob, if you wouldn't mind, pull up that footage from TMZ.
This footage is from the
posted.
ground. It's a lot worse looking than the one from the top.
Correct. Yeah, because I'm sure the footage you got was entirely different.
Yeah, it looks like, oh, damn, like it looks like it's so legit and like he pulled it and whatever. But, us knowing, the outcomes of like those kind of maneuvers, like that close to the ground, like, oh, he's screwed,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have it, Bob, pulled up? Okay, cool. Yeah, because seeing it, pop that up on screen there. There you go. Full screen. Yeah, go ahead. So there, it looks fine.
That's not fine.
Explain it for us, Dan, because you've jumped a million times.
He's swirling around in a circle, and you can see how his body's not staying underneath the parachute. Like, even if you're maneuvering, your body needs to be underneath that chute, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, you're not catching the kind of air you need to slow yourself down. He's getting whipped all over the place right there.
Yeah, keep showing this
and then
one more time,
especially that
Bob.
last one right there at the end, at the top of the tree line, that's not good. That's really not good.
So when he hits the ground here, as we're showing this, if you were to guess at his speed, what would your guess be? Because it looks fucking fast.
Hang on. Ooh, man, I don't know, like 25 miles per hour, maybe something like that.
I'd say easily that. It's just, like he drops so fast but he's going 25 miles an hour from like 100 feet just straight down,
Straight into the ground.
Right there. And it's just, that's gnarly.
Who took that footage from the ground, Nate? Do you know?
I'm not sure who took I mean, they have a lot of the same filmers that are coming out to film all that stuff. So it's just probably one of the normal crew that's always around his stuff. So
Gotcha. Because the first thing that came to mind that TMZ had it was the Kobe thing. For me personally, where it was just like they had the info before everyone else. And this was the only site that I saw had the info on Travis Pastrana, and they were like, he almost died. And I was like, this can't. It's the same thing I thought when I looked at the Kobe thing. I was like, this can't be true.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, every other news outlet picked it up. So I was wondering if somebody else from the ground had that footage from their camp.
I mean, there's all kind. When you're doing a stunt like that, there's people all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just like sometimes, these stunts get set up like where we're not telling people really that we're doing them.
And that's why I asked.
But at the end of the day, dude, it's like
if you walk by and see all this stuff around,
yeah,
you're like,
and then you see like
happening.
an iconic dude that it's pretty easy to pick like any of us out,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So you'll go to a location that no one knows about, and all like, yo, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not you. You're not easy to pick out of a crowd. Like
No, not at all.
Very incognito.
It's you and Slash.
Yeah, exactly. It just happened like literally the other day. I never expect anybody to know me. I'm just like, man, I'm a washed up BMX pro. Like no one knows me, And then it just happens like in the most random places. You're like, I'm just confused. Like, oh shit, Like,
Yeah.
I'm always worried it's like a process server or something. Like, am I being sued? Is this like, are you a good guy? Like, God, no, I'm not.
Or usually it's the your warranty is expired, sir.
Or your
car
student loans.
Yeah.
Student loans, your car warranty is expired. But you're one of those dudes though who's kind of lived on the internet, like your old clips and everything else. Like you were still one of the best to ever do it. And I don't know anybody currently that is doing the shit that kind of changed the game like you did back in the day.
It's weird because a lot of people will come up to me and say that, and it's like, hey, we did this, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And it's just like it's something I'm actually going through right now. I'm actually getting some brain scan treatments and stuff. But when that happens to me, like a lot of the situations people bring up, I don't remember. I have no recollection of. Well, what do you mean you don't remember? We did this, and like they'll tell me the funniest story ever of something I personally did, and I'm just like, wow, I wish I could remember that, And it's like, I mean, I do remember a lot. I'm a storyteller and whatnot, but it's pretty wild. So it's like, it still freaks me out every time because I don't remember. I can definitely tell you I don't remember my childhood, but when I'm like all the way up till my mid-20s, I don't remember. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah, people don't realize how dangerous that shit is. I mean, they've seen some of it, I guess, to some degree. TJ Lavin had a pretty public recovery as well.
Yeah.
From his like 90th fucking concussion or whatever it was, but he had to relearn how to walk and count and shit. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah, and we were talking to him when last time he was on the show about Dave Mira.
Yeah.
He was a good friend and ultimately ended up taking his life.
I was a good friend also.
Yeah, and with that, TJ had said that it was the endless concussions and everything else, and they were like, look, Dave wasn't that type of dude, man, just to roll out in the desert and end his life like that. You know him, pretty closely as well.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you probably have the same feelings as TJ, where if he didn't have all those concussions, he probably wouldn't have had those thoughts.
Look, like after all that stuff started happening, I have 5 personal friends that were at the top of their game, best in BMX ever. And I was really close to all those dudes. They're all gone now. They all had the same check marks. Nobody wants to talk about this, straight up. It's something I put together. It's like we were on bikes over Baghdad, a trip we'd do to go support the troops and stuff. We were in Iraq. And I forget what base we were specifically at, but there was like a movie theater. I went and saw the movie Concussion.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out. I'm like...
With Will Smith?
Yeah, and I was crying during the movie because I'm just like... all these, Dave had already happened, and like another one of my really close best friends, like it already happened to, and I'm just sitting there tripping balls. Like, you start thinking like, am I next? Am I just going to snap one day or whatever? And what I started putting together is this checklist, because when you do the research on the football players compared to the BMX guys, it's the same damn checklist.
Yeah, same thing for vets too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like out of all our injuries, I have 12 major surgeries under my belt. One thing I've never done is opiates. I've never taken the pain medication for any of my surgeries. And I have a super high pain tolerance. It sucks, but to me, it's like, you know, the pain is that I have every day after a surgery is like, fuck, don't ever do that again.
Right.
You know, it's like, but the one time that they made me, I collapsed my whole right side of my face and had reconstructive surgery on my face, they made me take a Percocet to leave the hospital. I'm like, I don't want that shit. They're like, oh, you're going to need this. And worst 6 hours of my life. I couldn't think straight. It was like in the passenger seat, if not in the back seat of the car at that point. And it was just like, fuck this, never want this again. That's the only Percocet I've ever taken in my life. But you look at like Dave and all the other guys that this has happened to, those dudes are pinning on like 10 and 16 Percocets a day.
Yeah.
And then you start checking off those things that were going on. I have 75% of those same check marks. You know, I have the head trauma, I have the depression, I have all of those things, and I've dealt with it for a lot of years of my life, but I just think it's a combination of all of those together. And, you know, alcohol and the opiates and some of those things are like a major factor where people are trying to mask, you know, the head trauma and the depression with these other things. And the combination of all that, it then hits the fan one day and it's like, check the fuck out.
And doesn't give your brain the opportunity to heal itself.
Not at all.
Right? If you're, I mean, like if you have
the pills don't?
Either way, if
Okay.
you have a head injury and you're trying to build new neurons, having a blocker, which is what opiates are in your head, not good. Pouring alcohol on it, which fucking kills neurons, not good, right? So the remedies that most human beings have used for the last 300 or so years, which is to say opium and fucking alcohol to treat this kind of stuff, are the worst possible things, especially together, that you could use to treat this shit. You know what I mean? But what the fuck did we know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had no idea about any of this stuff.
Yeah, and you know, for you personally, not having taken any pills and everything else, do you still have the same thoughts and feelings that maybe some of your friends had when they took their own lives? Like, I guess everybody's trying to, and myself included, everybody's trying to figure out what it is. What's that final breaking point?
About 3 years ago was the closest I've ever been to killing myself. Just straight up. Like, it was tough. It was a 2-month period that I went through, and there was a lot of circumstances leading up to that. And no matter how strong you think you are as a person, you know, I'm 30 years deep in concussions and head trauma and depression and whatever. I thought I was fine. And, you know, like it was like a perfect storm that happened to me on a job I was on. And for like 2 months straight, every single day I got up and I was like, okay, how am I not going to kill myself today? Because I already know what I'm going to do. And it was heavy, dude. And it's just like I couldn't talk to my friends about it because like, as soon as I talk to him, he's going to try to stop me. And I'm fucking going through with this.
Yeah.
So I tried all these different things to like get past how I was feeling. You keep coming back to the same answer. It's the worst. Like, and you can't explain the feeling to somebody that hasn't had that type of depression and like that thought process, because when you start telling somebody, they're like, well, I don't get it. Well, no shit, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just, I don't care what you've done in the past, because like all my accomplishments and whatever, none of that shit mattered to me. It's like, people are like, yeah, but you have everything. You have the best life. And it's like, I get where you're coming from, because that's the same thing they said about Dave. Like, I don't understand. He had the best everything. It makes me want to choke those people out, because I'm like, you don't get it. That's not what it's about, you know.
And that's kind of what TJ was saying. So, and I guess, you know, I've known you for a few years at this point. Like, you're not a depressed dude at all, but obviously we don't know what's going on in people's minds. Was the depression brought on from the CTE?
It's a factor. That's all I'm saying. Is it's 100% people are going to say and blame it on CTE. That's not it. It's a factor of that. I'm telling you, it's all of those check marks. If you know somebody with every single one of those check marks, let's get you into a program. Let's get you into something that can help.
I mean, think about the way that that psychotherapy works as an adult. Almost everything that happens there is that you're unpacking shit that you blocked out of your mind in childhood. Now, that's what drugs and alcohol will do to you if they are abused. The same thing. So you have your whatever it is, your negative emotions, your guilt, shame, fucking anger, regret, whatever it is, just piles on top of one another and never gets flushed out, ever. You just stack fucking, it's like putting pieces of wax paper over it every time. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you wake up and there's no room in your brain left and you fucking blow your fucking brains out. You know what I mean?
And it's a crazy scenario. You do get overloaded, like he's saying, and you freak out one day. But the things that have helped me the most is like, so we started doing like our military entertainment. I started doing it like 15 years ago. And what I noticed for me is like, this is what I started doing at an early age, working for Woodward and any job that I was involved with. I'd started dedicating my life to like helping kids and people that I connected with. And like, to me, anybody that's had that kind of depression or like drama going on in their life, I can connect with because I feel their pain. I know it, and a lot of people don't have those types of pain. That's why I don't talk to some people about, I have no problem talking about what I got going on, but it's like somebody that's never had that kind of thought process or depression, like they're just not going to have the same feelings. They don't feel the pain. They have no idea what I'm talking about. But since like I've had that a lot of my life, like say I have a friend that goes into the military and then I connect with him and know that he's having some issues or some problems, and he might only be 2 years deep in his depression or 3 or 4. I got 30 under my belt. And it's like, hey, this is what I did. Oh my God, you saved my life. I'm like, buckle up, bro. Like, this is a lifelong process. It's just, this is how I got through the first stages of my stuff. And then it evolved into this and whatever. But what I'm getting at is like, what's helped me the most is helping other people, because it's like, I physically can, because I know some of the pain and the thought process and where to go with some of it. But it also helps me, that's my mask. I'm not masking it with drugs and alcohol and those things. I'm like, it makes you feel way better that you're helping somebody, but I just don't want somebody to follow the same path I did with that thought process, you know, and like, hey, you can turn it around and do this, and this is what I did and whatever. And like I said, it's not the end-all solution. There needs to be some types of therapy and some of the things that I've researched, and hopefully some of those programs are more available for action sports type people because they're in place already for military.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm even getting to go through what I'm going through now is my military contacts. They're rewriting the program right now to like put me through this program. And I asked them if I started a foundation or something, would you put more action sports people through it? And that's in the new programming they're writing. And I'm like, holy shit.
So you genuinely think that you will be battling depression for the rest of your life?
It's not a constant is the thing. It's like there's points that you're like, dude, I'm fixed.
Well, it's like your immune system.
You know?
It's not a matter of completely ridding your body of anything or your mind of anything. It's about becoming resilient, right?
Right.
Like when that voice creeps in or when that virus comes around, I'm good. Like it's going to suck for a day or two, but I'll be fine, right? And after a couple of bouts of it, you become more confident in your ability to do that. You know what I mean?
And you can fix the similar problems that were happening. Yeah. Like, no, I dealt with this already. Yeah. I got this one. It's the problem is when something new comes out and it takes you out. And then you're like, fuck, that was a new one. I haven't dealt with that yet. This is like, I just got kicked in the balls a whole new way. I've never been kicked in the balls. What do I do now? Well, I do know that I just need to keep going forward in a positive way, but how do I deal with this one now? And that's what just recently happened to me. I was good for 15 years straight. And all of a sudden, like, went on some job that I got really fucked up from and have been trying to figure it physically and mentally. Like, because I basically put my body through hell on these jobs. I work insane hours, don't get any sleep, the stress, and like, and it's crazy, man, like what you go through. And I basically came off of one of these jobs like with a form of like PTSD, nothing like what a soldier goes through, because you can't compare that. And I never would. But I would be going into situations where I'm like, I had to prepare myself to go to Home Depot and shit. And it's like, why the fuck do I got to do that?
Were you doing stunts for movies or?
No, it was just on a job I was just building, and like the project management company that was working around me was lying to me every day.
Oh,
like
gotcha.
Physically lying to me for 6 months straight.
Okay.
So I changed my thought process to get around their bullshit. And by the time I got home, getting lied to every day for 6 months, my wife's saying something, and my brain just goes, fuck you, you're lying. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Why would I ever think that? And I couldn't change it. I couldn't change my thought process. And I'm like, what the fuck? So it took me 6 months to come out of that thought process, because that's what I had to do to get through the job. And it was so messed up, man. And it's like, I've been pretty messed up since that job, but came out of it. And then another like job that I went on, some of those feelings started coming back up again when I thought it was over. And then just like a perfect storm happened on everything in my life, like just taking a shit. And I still did the job and got through the job and smashed it. And and just everything else just came crashing down kind of thing.
Yeah, sometimes the job's all you got, though. Like when you're in those super fucked up parts of your life, whatever it is that you're doing that's exposing you to this shit, it's almost like being in an abusive relationship. It's like, that's all I've got. I got to go do that, right? I can't, like, what the fuck else am I going to do? So it's, that makes it doubly challenging to actually deal with any of the shit that's going on, because you can't do what psychiatrists would call experiential avoidance. So avoid that experience entirely to let your body relax, calm down, let your mind readjust itself and build new neural pathways to more positive feelings and shit like that. You never have the time, because that's the only thing that you know. Like, people are like, why'd you keep going back to war? Because fucking what else am I going to fucking do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucked up now.
Exactly. And it's like, it's weird because I think a lot of like people that made it on the top of their game, this is how I kind of look at it. And I'm a little different than a lot of the guys like in the BMX world, just because I would design and build and then I'm riding and whatever. It's just, I align so well with, like, I have so many special forces friends now. And here's how I look at it. Like, we're problem solvers, you know? We're solutionaries. Like, anything that gets put in your fucking lap, I'm going to fucking do this no matter what. I'm going to conquer it. And I've been able to do that with every situation. We think so much alike. And even like when I'm going to jump this fucking gap right here. Well, Nate, is that possible? I'm like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's either you wake up in the hospital or you pull it. Fuck it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you guys think the same fucking way.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why you just align with people like that. And it's just, I get bummed because, like, I think the hardest thing for me was to, like, admit that I had any kind of a problem, because I feel like I can solve anything. And I was like, damn, once you can admit that, man, I'm just like, I'm an open book. I'll fucking try whatever to get through what I'm going through right now, because I want to be a better human. I want to be a better father. I want to be just better in life, you know? And I'm going all in right now, so.
What does your wife do when you go through situations like this?
Pretty much she's divorcing me right now, so.
Oh, well, great, Nate.
Yeah, so when I'm going through a situation like that,
we love going through positive moments in people's lives.
Yeah, and that one's a tough one, just because, like, man, I love her to death. It takes two to get to the point where I'm at, and I was no walk in the park my whole life, so, you know, I wish I could fix things or whatever, but I am trying to fix things, and I wish her all the happiness in the world, and she's always been there for me, but right now she's not. And
well, Nate, I got a surprise for you.
All right.
She's on the phone now. Bob, put her on. I'm kidding. That'd be fucked up, wouldn't it?
She wouldn't even want to talk to me, man.
She'll talk to Drinkin' Bros. Wives love us. I'm kidding.
That's definitely not true.
No, definitely not true.
So I'm single, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
There it is. What's your Instagram? DM Nate.
Wessel built.
There it is.
Yeah, it's right there.
Build shit.
Yeah, you build shit. Are you building ramps for the younger guys and X Games and any of that stuff?
And I wanted to come back to something you said, talking about mentoring kids. Every single fucking, not action sports necessarily, but every BMX dude I've ever known, yourself included, has some story about some old head in the neighborhood that got them into it, got them bikes, fixed their bikes, built ramps for them when they were young. TJ's doing it in his neighborhood in Vegas now. And he's got a story of, like, an old dude that was in his neighborhood back in the day. He wouldn't have known about any of this shit until if it weren't for this random dude in his neighborhood. And it seems like that whole community is built from the ground up in a way that most other athletic communities aren't.
It's always like family oriented like that. And it's like, it used to be more so back then than it is now. Just like the story you just said. I have that same story, you know.
Every one of you motherfuckers I've ever met has the exact same story.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're building ramps for the younger generation.
Yep.
Do you ever look at them and be like, dude, I can do this better than you?
It's funny because it was weird how I even got into ramp building. I never even took a shop class, like, in school. It's like, my dad was an engineer and in the steel industry, but he was always, like, had a friend that was a carpenter or a mechanic and whatever, so he's good at everything. So, I mean, I was laying like wood floors when I was like 8 years old in our house. And so I was good with my hands, but had no idea what I was doing. And my dad would just help me with it. And then I started skateboarding and we'd build grind rails and whatever. Next thing you know, I started riding BMX and was like, I'll never have a photo in a magazine or your video part or anything. So I was like, I could build ramps and stay in the industry. And I was just always the kid like sitting there thinking like, man, why does the park have to be so plain Jane? Why don't we just do this or this or whatever? And everybody would be talking in a room, and I'm like, well, let's just do it right now. Yeah. And they're like, whoa, slow your roll, bro. And
this
I'm
is
like,
why he and Jared get along so well.
Yeah.
Two fucking knuckleheads with ADHD.
If Jared and I hung out more, it'd actually be super dangerous because I'd be like, we're doing this right now.
Yeah, Jared would have a fucking Ferris wheel at his house right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shit, I'm surprised he hasn't hired you just to stay on and build shit on his property.
Oh, we've talked about it many times. And then like, I'm like, yeah, I'm down now. He called me. This is hilarious. He calls me one day. He's like, dude, I'm trying to like date this girl and impress her. And I told her it was like, she has like a farm or something, has these tractors. And like, basically he said how he wants to like backflip a tractor. And he's like, could you just draw something up? Like we're actually going to do it. And the thing that I drew up, he's like, I send it to him. Like it was super professional. He's like, dude, this would work. I'm like, I know. And he was shitting, and we sent it to Pastrana. He's like, that's the dumbest, awesomest thing that I've ever seen because it was a joke. And I mean, that's the problem with talking to me because like Travis, love-hate relationship with me. Yeah. He's just like, dude, Nate, what do you think about this? I'm like, and right away, I'm like spouting stuff off and just whatever. All we got to do is this. And he's like, fuck, I hate you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I love you, but I hate you because like I thought it was a joke and it was just like so far-fetched, but I just wanted to tell you the idea, but you actually, that would work.
And that's the story of Nitro Circus. There was never an adult in the room. And that's how it all happened.
This is true.
They gave the fucking the keys to the prison to the prisoners.
Yeah, dude.
Let them run wild. Like Hulkamania running wild.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you build ramps for like the X Games and all that shit?
I did it for 7 years. So
that travel schedule's fucked though, right?
Yeah. The schedule's crazy because I basically was driving to LA. I was from Ohio and Pennsylvania, basically driving to LA for 2 months. We'd build for a month straight, do the event, tear down, and like pack it all back in the warehouse and go. But there was a lot leading up to that where you had all this design and you have to go out for meetings and whatever. But I did that for 7 years, and then just my schedule started getting hectic, and other companies, like I can design concrete, but I don't personally like build concrete, and they switched over to that style. So another company took over at that point, and it was fine because I just was so crazy busy, like doing stuff with Travis and Woodward and all these different people and events and Hot Wheels, and it's like, I'm turning away work at that point, you know, and it's like, I'm just getting calls like, hey, what do you think about this stunt? And I'm like, did a little research on it. I'm like, oh, this. And they're like, oh, you can do that? I'm like, yeah. So I get weird calls, anything to do with transition at all. It's like somebody will call me for like a movie stunt or
transition. Like I thought you meant like Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah,
no,
you ever do that surgery?
Yeah, like So I had to change. I had to talk about transition because like we used to be like, yo, searching for tranny, but you can't say that in this day and age because that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, because if you say transition, we want that dick lopped off.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, so I'm not allowed to say transition anymore.
I think you can say
no.
that.
You can't say that either.
Yeah, I think you
anything
can
with
say
tran. You gotta.
Gotcha. So how am I supposed to explain my job?
Well, of what you do, you don't.
You're a white.
Don't even explain. I do everything.
Yeah.
Have you been to?
Oh man, so what kind of porn do you do again? Damn
Transitional porn is what I do.
Have you been to Jared's house in Bernie?
No, but I'm headed there tonight, supposedly.
Okay, there you go. So I'm going to brief you right quick so you know.
Perfect.
I guarantee you he's going to ask you something stupid like this. So there's this, it's 2 stories, and this back-facing part near the pool on the second story, there's a little setup out there. You could probably build a ramp because there's a flat space where the pool is, then it just starts to go down into a valley pretty much immediately. You could build a ramp all the way down there and get some good lift. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And that you can do whatever you want to on that part. Seriously, there's probably about 500 or 600 meters out in front of him until there's anything other than a tree. So I think that's what I want to see.
All right. Well, that's easy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? He's got construction going on all over the place over there right now.
Nice.
Always.
I want to make whatever we do. I want to make in a way that we can send anything with wheels down it, because we get somebody that's like not coordinated on a bike or something. We just put them on a big wheel or a sled with wheels that
like Jim York.
hit off the bumpers. Yeah, like Jim York.
Yeah, he's a fucking lunatic.
Oh, trust me, I get to hang out with him all the time.
I don't know how he's still alive either.
No, I don't know how any of you guys are still alive.
Jim York's like jumping Cadillacs and shit, like 1970s model.
I saved his life a couple times.
I'm sure.
He was like, "Hey man, I know you're in Utah working. Can you come check this jump tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I come down there and some circus rodeo monster truck jam they got going on.
Yeah.
And he's like the halftime show. And his brother is like, I look at the car and I'm like, why are the tires bald on this thing? Doesn't your brother work he owns a car dealer. Why wouldn't you put new tires on this thing?
No need.
He's just spinning wheel. I'm like, Jim York, that's why you.
Yeah.
You know?
He's got a pretty interesting collection of vehicles. He's got the Ghostbusters car, bunch of old Cadillacs. They're pretty nice. Yeah.
Speaking of ghosts, we get a sponsor that starts with a ghost. You'll be sleeping in one tonight at Jared's house.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros, 40% off the bundle package. That's the adjustable base, the mattress. Matter of fact, Jack Mandeville walked in. He's does the Friday Night Jack session. Come on in, Jack. Pop on behind me on camera here. He does it live from a ghost bed. Every Friday night on Patreon, Drinkin Bros Podcast, Patreon. Look at this stash on
Are you?
Look at that.
Is this in solidarity with the Canadian truckers?
Oh, that's nice. Are you going to Ottawa tonight?
What's going on in Ottawa?
Jesus,
50,000 trucks descending on the city. No need, Jack. There's no need reading the news.
Twitter once a day.
If you want to check out Jack on a ghost bed, ask him his level of comfort. It's a call-in show, the Friday Night Jack Sesh on Patreon, and Jack will be with you to tell you how comfortable these these beds are. 30% off if you use the promo code Drinkin Bros off of any item in their store that is the sheets, the pillows, the mattresses, the adjustable bases, anything you want. The bundle package is only if you pair the adjustable base together with the mattress. And this year, they got a 60-month pay-as-you-go program. No interest if you have decent credits. That'll knock it down to like $20, $25 a month for a brand new bedroom set. This is the year you get a ghost bed from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Next up, D'Anthony, we got the store, the Drinkin Bros merch.
Yeah.
DrinkinBros.com/store. We got an email yesterday or a DM asking about if bro boxes, we still got them.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Okay,
Yep.
we haven't sold out. Okay, cool.
Nope.
I lied and just said I think so.
We're getting pretty close because so today is what's Monday? Is Monday
The 30th.
Is Monday the 30th?
Yep.
Okay, so by the 31st, if you don't order by the 31st, you're not getting a coin. That's the short answer.
Got it. Okay, perfect.
And you also won't be eligible for the first month's golden ticket.
All right.
So
Go to the Drinkin Bros store. Get it now. Bro Box, $39.99 a month. All you do is put in your shirt size. You're good to go. You will get new shirts every month in some type of glassware or drinkware that will show up to your house. And again, you might get the golden ticket for something new. I don't even have the merch yet, and I had to sign up for the Bro Box. That's how specialized these shirts are. I think we're only doing a few hundred a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And then boom, on to the next one. So you got to go. Also, if you just want one of these shirts, boom, we got the Impeach Biden shirt on. You got the Defund Politicians.
Yep.
American Party hat you're wearing, Flex Fit. I've got the Drinkin Bros podcast.
Yeah, I'll get you some.
Flex Fit. We got some in the lobby, yeah.
Let me see what else is on here. There's some other shit that's relatively new. I think we have some new shirts on here, actually.
Ooh.
Let me see.
You got one of Jared working on his Subaru or anything?
We should. Man, I'm super busy, dude. I gotta.
Go ahead and switch the filter over there in the top right from to date new to old, and you'll see this new natural immunity stuff that we put on here. There you go.
Ooh.
Now you'll put that on screen. If you go right below that, abolish the CIA, abolish the FBI. Fuck both of those organizations. Ross said that, not me.
No, that was definitely Dan Holloway.
And if you scroll down just a little bit farther, you'll see some baby clothes. One that it says, I pooped myself at the Vatican and all I got was this shirt. And that's about Joe Biden shit himself in front of the Pope.
Yeah.
Then there's a mandate this dick, which I say is probably for your male children.
Maybe, yeah.
Then one Z that says my gender pronouns are get and fucked. So
If you put that on your baby, Dan.
I actually have a baby to put that in.
Yeah.
I need to get one and then put him in it, but not tell my wife, and then just have her like walk in to like take his like
That'd be the best. Wouldn't
whatever
it?
off in the morning when he wakes up. You know what I mean? Like his swaddle or whatever.
what's what?
All you have to say is, "Look, my bosses did this. It wasn't me."
Yeah, we snuck into your house.
Yeah.
How can you tell me what her what you assume her reaction would be to that?
Disgust. She'll probably ask me if I was planning on taking him out of the house in it. To which I would tell her yes, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, she'd just be horrified, and then she'd just tell me I'm a fucking idiot and be like, if you didn't like this job and if they didn't pay you well, I would hate it so much.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
No, it's really not.
You should do it.
You should do it.
Yeah, all right, let's
definitely do it.
Let's get a mandate.
There's also if you go farther down, there's baby clothes that don't say fucked up shit on them.
Yeah, normal ones. Normal ones. We got everything in the store now. It's fully stocked and ready to go. And then last but not least, hardafseltzer.com. All you have to do is go there, type in your email address, and as soon as it launches next month, I think we're
About 2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks.
A little over 2 weeks, man. Fuck. That is coming up soon. We'll tell you cities, states, all that stuff, and where to order it. And it's online, so it'll be going to 42 states. And then slow rollout to Tennessee, Texas, and Florida will be the first 3 states. But in the meantime, you'll be able to get this shipped to your house. And that's an awesome deal. I've already got 10 cases going to my fucking house. Because people think we get this shit for free, and we don't.
Well, I mean,
We have to
technically,
pay for it.
we don't at all. No, we have to pay them to fill cans.
Yes. So all the footage you've seen is real, and we have to pay for that. Which I don't mind. You know, I don't mind paying full price for my own product. Why not?
It's delicious.
It's the best in the biz. So I don't really give a shit.
Those are the 4 that are getting released this
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah, variety
You guys
pack.
have plans on releasing other ones and stuff?
Oh yeah, we have
Like
4.
a soft as fuck with Jared's picture on it or
We
something?
will no.
Hot
He's
dog water.
sober as
The
fuck.
hot dog one would be amazing.
He's a sober guy now. So we might have to have a non-alcoholic.
That's why I'm saying soft as fuck.
I was going
it
to
could be
say
a soft drink one. You know?
I saw a commercial for, is it Heineken, Bob? That's got the
Zero, like
Yeah.
they're getting real hot about their non-alcoholic one.
Dry January has become a thing. So they did a whole line of Dry January commercials for Heineken. And
Oh yeah, I've had that because
Or-
I'm not drinking right now, and it's
Oh, it is? Yes.
it's 0.0 beer.
how is it?
It's actually like I don't really like Heineken, but like I've been drinking that one, like, and I'm like, damn, this is better than all the. And there's another company that makes like an IPA that's like non-alcoholic and all
There
this
is-
stuff, and I'm like, wow,
No shit.
If you go
yeah, and
into-
I've tried all of them, and they're great, but the Heineken one's actually pretty amazing.
Okay. They
And
spent
I
a lot
like
of
the
money on
fact that it's a
campaign.
0.0 because that was like my number in Terracross when I was racing,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's like, what's 0.0 mean? I'm like, 0 fucks, motherfucker, you know? Like,
What were you going to say, Bob?
Oh, if you just like go into HEB and shit, there is a like bizarrely vibrant non-alcoholic beer market.
Yeah.
Like IPAs, all kinds of shit.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't either. So speaking of which, somebody for Christmas dropped some off.
That was Scott Quick from Brewbag.
Who dropped off the non-alcoholic?
Oh no, not the night. He sent us a bunch of actual beer,
Yeah.
like a whole giant box of it.
Correct. But this was at my house right before I left for Christmas, and it was like non-alcoholic champagne and something else. I just got out of the hospital, and,
that's just
and they were assuming
sparkling
that, and I
cider,
was like,
right?
dude, I'm not going to fucking drink this.
No, why?
I'm not going to out whoever sent me that, but it's because it's a neighbor, and I was like, not one fucking prayer, Mike.
So they sent it to you because they thought you were going to be on the mend.
Yeah, look, on the mend, I'm drinking water and shit, right? Like I'm not drinking non-alcoholic beer or champagne on the
No,
mend,
whiskey.
you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, as soon as
I don't
I
understand.
could drink, I did drink.
I just
Like,
don't understand the non-alcoholic beverage.
I don't either. I don't get it.
I have never understood it either until like right now in this phase that I'm in right now. And I haven't drank in 6 months. And
Does it make you feel like you can go out with buddies and shit and be like, all right,
No,
cool,
I already
man, you guys
could.
are drinking.
I never cared. I already could, and I'm still at the bar, and I'm like, don't give a shit and funny and whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like, but I guess like my buddy that owned the bar is like, hey, try these, would just give me an honest opinion. I was like, oh, and I'm like, and then I started having this like one or, it's not like I'm going to go and drink 10.
Yeah.
That's just stupid. Like why would you drink 10 of these things? But it was kind of rad just to have one with a meal.
It makes sense
because it
in-
actually tastes like a beer and you're like, I enjoy this and I'm enjoying my meal and whatever.
Gotcha.
It makes sense.
That's more what it was
makes
about
sense
for me.
at the bar and restaurant. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. That makes sense.
But that's like the only places I've had them.
But they don't make like fucking non-alcoholic scotch.
No, they don't.
not that I know of. I actually asked that though. I'm like, can anybody make like non-alcoholic bourbon?
Seriously.
Is that a thing? Or
No,
I didn't
not
think
a thing.
so.
No, it's just dirty water.
yeah,
That's all it is at that point. Is Jack sitting back there still? Jack, slide in on the camera, by the way. You were behind me, and I just caught you out of my peripheral here. Show that mustache on Jack.
Does he not
Jesus
look like
Christ.
this is in solidarity with the Canadian
100%. That's why I did a double take where I was like, you literally look like you're about to drive a truck to Ottawa right now.
I just went to Twitter and saw what's going on in Canada right now. It's like a anti-vax
No,
convoy,
anti-mandate?
anti-mandate
Let's
convoy.
let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I don't trust Twitter.
Yeah. Well,
None of us are anti-vaxxers or any of that shit. We believe that it's your body, your choice, the same as a woman, and that's what they're fighting for.
people should put whatever they want to inside of their own body.
Yeah.
And take out whatever they want out of their own body.
Nate, you ever took a
Right.
penis? You ever taken a dick?
taking one.
Okay.
No.
Oh, I thought you said you admitted to it. I was like,
no,
okay.
taking one. I mean, I'm
'Cause
just
you were like, taking
I'm
one,
just
yeah, I've
asking.
had
Is that
one.
what you just actually
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
Well, he does.
I mean, I've seen a lot of dicks. I mean,
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
that count? I mean, I could tell you some really weird stories that
Yeah.
you'd be like, all right, you've taken dick. But,
Fire away.
I mean,
well, his transition business,
yeah, my transition business.
he literally takes dicks.
Well, look, that's the type of action sports and Jackass and those guys. Like, they have their dicks out all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm
all
sure
the time.
you've ridden bikes nude.
You were in a fucking frat, and I was in the military. We've all seen plenty of dicks.
Plenty of dicks.
Let's be real about that.
I still love it
It's
to
true.
this day. Like, a good dick always makes me laugh. Where I'm like, God damn it, you got me.
Yeah.
You fucking got me, you SOB, you know?
Exactly.
But you got, look, those guys do some crazy shit. I don't feel like it's the same anymore. Like with this new crop of dudes coming out.
It's totally different, you know, and that's what I was getting at before where, and I'm not saying it's any better or worse. It's just like the vibe and everything about it is just like, it's more segregated, meaning like the street riders are like, they kind of stick kind of with their own. Like they're not hanging out with the mega ramp dudes and they're not, you know, it's whatever. Like back in the day when I was a pro or whatever, it was just like anything that was in front of you, you just fucking rode it and didn't care. You're like, who gives a shit?
It seems to me more now so that it's a brand and a business versus like dudes who are going out just doing crazy shit and then getting fucked up at night and then just doing it again the next day like you guys used to do.
It's lifestyle shit, but like where like Instagram and all that stuff kind of fucked up a lot of stuff for a lot of pros because like the up and coming kid was like, I'm better than that dude and would film the most insane, like literally the most insane shit ever.
Yeah.
And just post it on his Instagram. And it's like dudes that are getting paid were like, well, companies were like, well, why do we not just get this kid that's just going to do it for free for us?
No shit.
Oh yeah, it fucked our whole world up.
Yeah,
man.
because the money in it, in action sports and all that stuff, and we've had, you know, a few conversations with the Nitro Circus guys as well, where they're like, dude, the money's just not there anymore for that type of
know.
shit. Is that what it is? Is Instagram and social media?
Some of that, I mean, there was kids, I'm not going to name names, but there's kids that came on Nitro that were like, I'll do the same thing they're doing for nothing for $200 a night.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You know, whatever. And it's like, dude, like you just blew it for everybody moving forward.
It's crazy,
It's
right?
so nuts. I'm like, wow. Where it's like, dude, I mean, granted, like a kid like that is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
But like, don't sell yourself short. Now you're in a spot where you barely made any money and now you still have to go for it all the time. And it sucks because it's like, you know, we don't have all the insurances and stuff and the things for like NFL dudes got. NFL guys get paid a lot, but then they're fucked up at the end of their career, you know? And it's like, they're doing, it's the kind of thing that we started talking about.
Sure.
But we just, in BMX, like we make 10 times less money. Like I made okay money on BMX, but to support myself only, it never would have supported a family. And I never even thought that I would make anything off of BMX. That's why I started building ramps. And I was like, and that continued my lifestyle and paid for everything. But it's like, we just don't have anything at the end of our careers. What do you turn to?
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids aren't mentored correctly, and these kids like are really good at riding. And once their BMX career is over, whether that be an injury or like they blew all their shit, like, and they're on drugs, like where are they turning?
Yeah, and you look at it and you're like, I wonder what a guy like you says to a young kid who comes up and says, all right, man, I want to get rich doing fucking BMX and action sports. Are you honest and do you sit him down and say, look, you're probably not going to make that much money?
Yeah, I've kind of had those questions asked, but it's usually not that. Like they're looking to get sponsored, but at that young of an age, they don't care about the money. They just like, oh, I made it, I'm getting sponsored. And that's like, to me, what sponsored is, and to be what being a professional is, you're making a living off of that. I got considered a pro way early. And I'm like, I'm not a pro. I wasn't making any money off it. I wasn't making a living. The first year I started making a living off of riding, I consider myself a pro. You know? And
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I was probably good as the pros or some of them or whatever. And there's a lot of kids that are easily as good as the pros, but they're just talking shit, trying to get, and then once they get that free bike, they're like, yeah, I'm pro, and it's like, it's just different now. And I'm like, hey, you can think that all day long. How are you going to pay for your apartment? Is it still your parents?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like, and I just wish there was more mentoring going on where some of the older guys do, and I try to, but it's different what I get asked, you know, because a lot of people that ask me stuff, I get known more as a builder than what I was as a rider. More kids know me as a builder than a rider, and I'm fine with that. I don't care. It's what I do.
Yeah.
It's what I'm professional at now. And I try to mentor anybody that has ever DM'd me on Instagram or whatever. Hey, what would you use for this transition? You know?
Sure.
Well, not this doctor, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know,
The
it's like
Caitlyn
I
Jenner
help
doctor.
everybody out. You know, it's just like it's free knowledge. You know, I don't want to. You know, if a kid wants to learn, that's all about becoming a professional rider too. It's like, hey, I'm building this in my backyard. Backyard setups are the sickest because like you really get your community around you to come over and hang out, and you're riding that spot.
Have you seen TJ's like right behind
Yeah,
his
it's
fence?
dope. I've been there a
It's
bunch of
fucking
times,
wild
man.
as shit back
It's
there.
so rad.
He's
You know?
got 15 dogs running around, so you got to be careful about them. But
Yeah. But even TJ, look, he's a great example. You take TJ Lavin, MTV is what paid for his whole life.
Oh yeah.
You know, wasn't necessarily what he did in action sports.
Nah, they're filming. What are they? It's season 27 or 28.
Something crazy.
Or something like that. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
oh, it's nuts. The challenge.
Yeah,
and it
it
still
looks-
trends on Twitter and every show. It still destroys.
We were
It's the only thing left. That and ridiculousness on MTV. That's
we
the
were in
only two things that
Djibouti,
go on.
Africa, and we rolled up to this table, and we're like, those are all special forces dudes. And they were all just like dead silent. We're like, yo, what are you guys into? They're just like staring forward. TJ was trying to talk to him. I'm like, I know you guys don't know this guy, but he is on the TV right there. And they had the challenge on the TV on the DFAC. And they looked up and they were like, what the? And then they started like kind of broing down with us or whatever. But
Yeah.
That dude's never met a stranger in his goddamn life.
no.
No.
He like seriously, when he's bored at home in Vegas, sometimes I think I've told this story before. He'll drive around in his old beat up piece of shit truck and look on like up and down the highway like a highway patrolman looking for broken down people. So
And he
can help
helps them.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Go spend your money.
Go hang
You're
with your
rich as
kids.
No,
shit.
dude,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the
Gotta
dude's the most
hire-
legit dude ever.
Yeah, he is.
I was in Park City the other day getting an MRI on my shoulder, and I just roll into this bar and friends with everybody in the bar already, but I like see this dude in the back. I'm like, why is this like really good looking dude checking me out? And I keep walking, and I'm like, I just eyed him up directly, and I'm like, TJ fucking Lavin? I hadn't seen him in years.
Yeah.
He was in the bar in Park City. He's there with his lady. They went for Sundance and never canceled their tickets because Sundance got canceled.
Probably just went skiing, huh?
They're just
Yeah, 'cause
hanging, man. And it was so good to see him, though, man.
Yeah.
I needed that because I
They've
needed
got
some laughter and smiles.
They've got a place here too called Narbar.
Oh, rad.
Got like right over here on 6th Street, I think. It's like a
Narbar.
fucking skater bar, yeah.
I'll have to go to
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's dope.
Are you friends with Tony Hawk at all?
Yeah, we know each other, you know, but I never get put in situations where I get to like hang out and chill with him or whatever, but we've been at a lot of events and talked.
Would have been fun to build his setup at his house. Holy shit. that
Oh, I
place
know,
is
it's
crazy
insane.
shit,
But
man.
I did get to build the 30th year anniversary
shit.
of the Animal Chin Ramp. got to build that ramp with Tim Payne.
Oh, no shit.
And Tim Payne was the creator of that ramp. I built that ramp with Tim and got to hang out with Tony and watch those dudes skate it.
It's kind of like sculpting
insane.
David with Michelangelo a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Tony's one of those guys. The reason I ask is he's doing skate parks in cities all across America, and like he's trying to lead the charge for the next generation.
Yeah.
He even did one in Wilmington, and I took my kid there, and it's one of those things where it seems like a simple setup of cement and build and everything else, but it takes a guy like Tony to actually push it through with these city councils and shit like that.
I think it's super important too, because I personally wasn't a skater. I played baseball and basketball, football and shit like that. But it is an opportunity for kids who don't like team sports to get outside, be athletic, and take minor risk with low consequences so they can learn to manage risk throughout the rest of their lives. That's a super important part of growing up.
It's like some kids like me, I wasn't meant, I was on team sports. Kids on the teams didn't like me. I'm like, I just literally wasn't meant for that shit, you know? And it's like where BMX and skateboarding, no, it's not a team thing, but you meet just homies for life in that world.
It's a different kind of team.
100%. And that's like a whole different camaraderie where they're not getting that in school or on specifically for the kids that aren't really.
And there aren't a whole lot of other options for kids that just don't like or fit in with team sports to be outdoors and do active shit. And like I said, read the Hunter-Gatherer's Guide for the 21st Century. It's Brett Weinstein and Heather Haying, his wife. And they talk about this a lot. And raising children, how do you keep your kids from being pussies, basically, is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because we have all this safetyism now. Everybody's afraid of everything. They're afraid of even being offended. So how do you mitigate that? You mitigate it by exposing them to risk at an early age with low consequences. So they trust the fact that they can make it through shit.
Yeah.
Right? And this is one of the only ways you can do it is as a child is team sports or something like this. Like that's the other option, really. So, I mean, it's super important. Tony Hawk's he doesn't need any more money. He's not out here doing this shit to benefit himself in any way. He's just trying to fucking help children.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that simple.
I remember Bam Margera, maybe 10 years ago, had a quote about Tony that was hilarious. He goes, if you cup your hand around your ear, you can hear Tony making another $1 million. Like, it's just, it's fucking endless from that guy. And the video games alone.
It's coming back.
I mean, but it's still legendary. Like, I saw one of the biggest things is kids watching other kids play video games. I don't fucking get it. Because I'm like, why don't you just play instead of watching somebody else do it?
I agree. I wasn't into video games. Like, I'm in a video game. I'm in one of the Matt Hoffman Pro BMX 2. That was the biggest paycheck I ever made in a single time. That I was like, holy shit, what? And it's like, I laugh because like I never think of it until like we're talking about video games. I'm like, oh yeah, I was in Matt's game. You know? And it's so weird.
But now, because I've got young kids. My 7-year-old is like, Dad, do you know Tony Hawk? And I was like, yeah. How do you know Tony Hawk? And it's like, it has lived forever. I feel like it's like Madden, where Tony Hawk is still universal, where it's just like, that'll keep going for years and years and years. Was that payday 6 figures?
No, I mean, it was big for me, but it's just nothing for like what Tony's making. It was
because they keep hiking the price on video games.
Oh, dude, it's insane. Yeah.
Jesus
so,
Christ.
I mean, when you talk about it like that, it was like I made nothing. But it was huge for me, and I was like, oh my goodness! Like, and I paid a truck off and was like, sick.
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah.
Then probably drove the truck over a rampy belt and fucked it up.
I mean, my truck is definitely falling apart right now.
How's Matt Hoffman in real life? I don't know him.
He's seriously one of the sweetest human beings that I know, man. It's I got to do a lot of stuff with Matt. It's Matt and I have always been homies, and got to build quite a bit of things for him. He used to do this CFB series, like the things that Matt has like put on the table for BMX and like bicycle stunt shows and the things that he used to do when BMX basically collapsed. He just kept going and like bringing it to people and creating these contests for like amateurs and all this stuff. It's like I worry about him because he's probably had 10 times more head trauma than me, and those are the scary things. But Matt is seriously so genuine and just done so much for our sport, and like with the X Games and just always been there to like push things forward, which is sick,
Him and Travis did a video for Killcliff, who was one of our sponsors. And they had a lot of nice things to say about you. They said you were the best in the biz.
I mean, I don't know if I'd go there or anything. I mean, I'm just one of the guys in the biz, you know. It's like, I'm so grateful that they say that.
So you're
stuff,
saying
but
that Matt Hoffman and Travis
Are liars.
Pastrana are liars.
Are
That's
liars.
what you're saying. Clip that.
Clip that.
Send it to Travis in the hospital.
Send it out. They're all fucking liars. They're all fucking Travis Pastrana, liar. So, I mean, I think before you even talk about X Games or Nitro Circus or any of that, I'll just remember Travis Pastrana, liar.
Yeah.
First and foremost. And then
not
the rest.
exactly what I'm saying, but it's just like, I don't know. I guess I don't take
said.
compliments very well.
I get it. Dan and I read between the lines. You said liar. And that's fine. We'll spell it out for the audience.
Perfect.
Welcome to CNN.
That's the only clip we put out
So
of this
this is
show.
going on your fake news show? then?
No. This is actually the rest of this hour is now wiped. We're just going to post this minute 30 seconds of you saying Travis Pastrana is a liar.
Then later, when you're gone, we'll film a pickup scene where we storm off camera because we're mad at you for saying it.
Yeah. And then you'll just hear grunting behind
That's
the camera,
perfect.
and it'll be
I
like,
love it.
yeah, and this is where we fucked each other. This is completely off topic, but I was reading about this fucking blizzard that's about to hit Boston.
Yeah, it's getting rough on the East Coast.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
This came out of nowhere. The craziest thing that I want to compliment you on is a few weeks ago, you had said what to put in your car for situations like this.
Yeah.
Literally, there's an article that is being passed around right now of what you should have in your car in emergency situations, because they said a lot of these cars will probably get snowed in on the highway and everything else. And you had just done this 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, it's not fucking rocket surgery. What are the things you need to survive?
What's rocket surgery?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you perform surgery on rockets, okay?
Yeah. I mean, they did surgery on a grape. Why not a fucking
Why
rocket?
not a rocket?
You know what I mean?
Why not a rocket?
Yeah, but it's...
They transition it or something?
Yeah.
They
You
put
pulled
a-
the dick off the rocket.
Yeah. It's now a different shape. It's not the Bezos dick rocket anymore. It looks like a giant vagine going through space. Now, you need stuff that keeps you alive. Warmth, water, food.
Yeah.
Right? And then some medical supplies, obviously. It's simple.
Yeah, but they're saying this could be the biggest snowstorm ever in the history of Boston.
I hope
which
it is.
What?
Which is crazy. Yeah. You hope it is?
No, I said I
wow,
hope it
that's
is.
crazy. He said that.
No, I mean, snow is dope.
Yeah, snow's fine.
Yeah, I like it. And I like people that set records, too.
You like record sets?
Yeah, I didn't care that
he's a
Bonds
huge
did
fan.
steroids, man. I just wanted to see
Who's the
those home
people
runs.
that's setting the snow records?
I don't know.
Could be Boston.
I think it's the snow, the ice giants from Thor.
Ice Giant, Snow King. We call him Snow God here.
Snow God.
Yeah. Nate, now's the point in the show we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, which is someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
Man, that one's difficult. My dad definitely probably made me like the person I am with my work ethic and stuff, and that's pretty much what's gotten me through to this point. But I mean, there's too many.
Is he still with us?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's too many names to name, but my dad straight
What's
up.
he up to these days?
Yeah.
He's still working, so he's in the steel industry. The cool thing about it,
Pittsburgh?
no, we were in Pittsburgh, and then when that kind of all collapsed, we moved to Cleveland, and he just always followed the steel industry. So he has a place in Decatur, Alabama, and Florida, and he's always constantly traveling. He's a engineer, deals with like slide gates, and he basically right now is ceramics, where it's like you basically think of your kitchen sink, but like a faucet that has liquid steel going through it. So he's dealing with like all kinds of wild contraptions like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, the reason I asked, there was a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh today. I don't know if you saw it.
He had nothing to do with that one.
No,
I'm just checking.
Biden was just there the other day talking about infrastructure, and then a bridge collapses. That's like some supervillain shit.
He's there
Yeah.
talking about infrastructure
He's trying
today.
they're trying to pass an infrastructure bill, and he's like, "Oh yeah, bridge.
Bridge collapse.
That's crazy.
Look, man.
Yeah.
And if your dad did it, he did it. You know, Travis Pastrana is a liar. Your dad destroys bridges. Like, it's totally fine. You can burn a bridge here on this show.
Yeah, that's true. I'm
You could
on the bridge.
we could blame Barry Bonds for leaving Pittsburgh in the first place.
Yeah, that's
to go to
true.
San Francisco, right?
And that's what caused this.
Yeah.
Because that bridge is probably 30, 40 years old.
It's probably from the 1960s, if
Yeah, it's
not
gotta
before
be.
that. Like most of the plumbing on the west coast of the country, which is developed way later than the east coast, at the most recent, it's from the 1960s.
Is it one of their main bridges that collapsed?
Wait, hang on. Let's see. It's a 50-year-old bridge. So what would that put it at?
70s,
70s?
Yeah.
No.
72.
Late 60s?
72.
72, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 72 is the late 60s. Don't try to play that off like you know math, bitch.
I don't know math.
You fucked that up horribly.
Look, all I'm seeing is 50-year-old bridge. It doesn't say what year.
That's a walrus dick right there, by the way.
Yeah, that's a huge walrus dick right in front of you.
I'm just wondering if anybody's been able to.
The hilarious part is he was playing with it.
Not the whole thing,
No.
but most of it. Yeah.
He was playing with it before you got in.
Oh, spitting on it and shit?
I didn't stop him. I just let him
I
keep
love
going,
it.
and then he was like, "What is this?"
Well, it's
Is
not like
this,
we just pulled it out of the walrus yesterday. It's been sitting there for a while.
I still wouldn't. The way he's handled it, the pre-show.
That's very suggestive what you're doing
Yeah.
right now.
That's probably get
no,
us banned.
Now you're hitting me with it. That's
Yeah.
sexual harassment. Sue him.
That's
touched you, Dan.
you just hit my co-host with a dick.
My dog is the HR
How
guy
much?
around here. He'll be in touch.
How many miles do you think this thing laid?
A lot.
In-
Dude, how much do walleye fuck?
Yeah.
We decided yesterday it's walleye.
That's a lot of pipe.
Yeah, how many times a year does a walrus fuck? Can you look that up, Bob? Thank you.
Probably
This is kind of
over, under
information
8?
I
So
figured
it's
Jack
once every 2 to 3 years is how often they breed. I'm not. I'll have to look a little deeper to see how often they fuck.
Maybe they're like Hank Hill. They got narrow urethras.
Yeah. Looks a little narrow.
I can't control this thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
never
everything.
everything.
I'm telling you,
never
it
can.
gets when it's long like that. Believe me, it's rough.
Yeah. The first 3 inches are fine. The rest is going to be a
It's
street
hard.
fight.
It's hard to aim.
It is. It is. So, by the way, Biden was there, and he actually had earmarked for Pennsylvania bridge maintenance $1.6 billion, and the fucking thing collapsed.
Yeah, and he made it collapse. I'm telling you, dude, he did it on purpose.
They had to do a human chain to get people out of there.
Did you see? I don't look. This is also unrelated, but did you see when Biden did the press conference with Stephen Breyer the other day? Biden walks up to the podium to speak, takes his fucking mask off, turns around, hands it to Breyer.
Yeah.
And then Breyer puts it in his pocket.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's a nice keepsake. That's
No.
that's what our generation's going to get is a bunch of signed masks.
Biden is
Hey, will you sign my mask, dude?
Biden is 78 years old, and Breyer is 83, I think.
Yeah.
And he just handed him his dirty ass fucking COVID mask. And old man just fucking washed it all over his face and then put it in his pocket like it was a handkerchief he got back from his fucking grandson.
Yeah, dude, put it up on eBay.
I think Biden might have dementia.
No, he's fine. I think he's going to be fine. Put it up on eBay. Sell it, though. Have the
I would-
president sign the mask and be like, dude, this dirty old man coughed in this thing for hours.
I would get the DNA off of it and then recreate Hunter Biden.
That'd be great.
Just so he could hang out with me all the time.
Let's face it, though. If we're partying with any presidential kid, it's Hunter, right?
Yeah, if Hunter Biden...
I'd imagine, yeah.
If he had not been the president's kid, like exposed to all the politics and corruption and shit, he'd probably be dope as fuck to hang out with. You know what I mean?
Look,
like he probably would now, but I don't want to hang out with him because he's a cunt.
he's doing all. So I watched the sex tape. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I did not.
Okay, so I watched it obviously because I'm disgusting and
Yeah.
it's research for the show and I want to know what I'm talking about. So in one of them, he's got this black prostitute. She could be Thai, where it was a light skin.
Yep.
And he's smoking crack and his dick sucked, doing a bunch of weird shit. And I was just like, that makes sense. When you're that rich and bored, why wouldn't you just get a bunch of prostitutes, get your dick sucked, and smoke some crack?
In a foreign land, a British man
Yeah.
a British man died yesterday in a fucking Thai rub and tug.
Did he really?
Yeah,
R.I.P.
But he was like
R.I.P.
74 years old or something.
That's probably how you want to go.
yeah, get your life jerked right out of you.
Yeah, but afterwards, like I don't want to die mid-stroke. I want to finish.
You want to come in that part where you get delirious right at the end. That's when your lights just shut out.
yeah, where she's like,
As the walrus stick's
Yeah,
coming
as the
at you.
walrus dick's
Yeah.
coming out. Well, that's in heaven.
yeah, it isn't
The
heaven.
dicks are bigger in heaven.
It's like when Robert Kraft went to that rub and tug before the AFC Championship. I know you know how much stress you're under as an owner.
Yeah.
Like I don't blame him for going.
And how
there.
else? I mean, what is he going to do? Spend 6 months trying to, convince some woman to touch his old dick? No.
Yeah,
You
why?
pay someone and they touch it now.
Yeah, it was. I think the whole transaction was like $180.
This is why it's
It's great.
it's all this fucking purity nonsense. It's women. We figured out the solution to their bullshit,
Yeah.
right? And they're mad about it. That's all it is.
By the way, speaking of women, the woman on Jeopardy, if you want to call her that.
40?
Yeah, she ended. The streak ended.
Oh, it's ended. 39 is where it ended.
40. So she got to 40, and then people were pissed online, and then they realized the guy that beat her was a gay guy, and then they were happy. So as long as you kept it in the initials, you were good to go. So it was a nice run. 40 games is a lot, but
What's
as
the
a
most-
man to another man, former man,
Wow.
I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted to see her jack it up so another woman couldn't hit 40.
Well, they won't. The show's been
I
on the
don't
air for 40
think so
fucking
either.
years.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten there yet.
I don't think so either.
What's the all-time record?
Ken Jennings, I believe it's 76, Bob. Did Ken Jennings have 76?
I think it was in the 90s.
Was it really?
Yeah, I saw the chart the other day.
Fuck. He was hosting too, I believe.
Yeah.
Mormon.
Mormon? I wish more men were like him.
Oh, no, you're right. 74. 74 consecutive games.
74 consecutive games. Look at that, Bob. I know some math, God damn it. Well, I was off by 2. I think it's the rule of 2, right? In polling, you go either way. 2
No.
points either way.
It depends on the type of poll and how many people are involved and the distribution and a lot of other things.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. So I was correct. We'll leave on that note tonight.
Margin of error.
We'll leave on that note.
Yep.
Nate, we appreciate you being here, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, have fun at
Enjoyed
Jared's
it.
house. Don't say yes to everything. That's my only
I'm
caveat.
definitely not going to.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Jared's fucking Subaru. What the fuck? I'm glad. You know what? This was a lovely conversation. I'm glad Jared wasn't here to fucking dirty it, sully this conversation. He'd have been yawning every 15 minutes. And it's like, dude, you're sober and you sleep all the time. There's no reason to yawn.
There is no reason to yawn.
No, build a ramp, make him jump that fucking Subaru off it. So whatever work he did put in today is completely
It's
fucking
completely
ruined.
ruined, yeah.
Yes.
I think you should make like not a Ferris wheel. It's a roller coaster all the way around the property.
Oh, dude, have you ever like researched backyard coasters
Yeah,
and
they're
the
dope as
rednecks
fuck,
that build
man.
them? It's amazing.
They're like just the engineering behind it.
Oh,
is
it's so good.
I mean, they're fucking cool as shit.
Just make one that doesn't work at all for Jared then.
Just
Yeah.
make one that breaks like all the time for no reason.
Is it wrapped in Black Rifle, that Subaru?
It's
think
Black
so.
Rifle and a bunch of other shits on there.
Because what I would do, pick up a bunch of Japanese kids and drive them around in it and be like, oh, look at how racist Jared is. He drives all these Japanese kids around in his Subaru.
Wait, why would
he
that-
wouldn't do this in a Ford.
Aren't Subarus Korean?
Are they?
I don't know.
Actually,
Did
don't
Jack
know now.
Mandeville leave? He would know that answer.
Jack Mandeville is here. I believe they're Japanese.
Yeah, Jackie, I'm on fire today.
Is that true?
I'm on fire
Look it
today.
up.
It is.
And, well, if that's true, then why?
It's going to be a walk-off for me if it is true.
Why do only lesbians drive those Subarus then?
I just assume anything that's vowel heavy
called-
is Japanese.
Travis a lesbian?
Yes. Yeah.
Vowel heavy.
Yeah, like if there's a lot of vowels, it's probably Japanese, right?
They're headquartered in Tokyo, so you're probably right.
Yes.
Yeah.
God damn it, dude. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Yeah, you went 1 out of 10, and now you're congratulating yourself.
We're ending the show on it. That's all there is to it. For D'Anthony Holloway, Nate Wessel, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros podcast. Good night, everyone.